Broadcasting live from nearby planet within range of the Astrotorium. This is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome everybody to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham. Joining me is Cameron and Kathleen. And today we're going to talk about Unfinity. Finally.
Yay.
Finally.
Oh.
We're going to talk about Unfinity.
Every time I've said, it was very fun to work on the set. Please do not ask me any further questions. Now is the time.
Now is the time. This is the first podcast we're going to do about Unfinity, because right now we're in the middle of spoiler season. We're going to talk a little bit about what our job was on this set and how we contributed to it and some of the cards that are already revealed. And then in another episode, we're going to go even more into the weeds with our team lead from the creative text team is actually going to be joining us, a man by the name of Ari. And we're going to be talking about sort of, why that's going to be more into the weeds. We'll talk about it more later. But today we're going to talk about what we did, a bunch of the cards that are spoiled, and then where relevant, we'll be doing like, I helped write that part. But before we do, I want to quickly remind you, of course, that the show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR and order yourself some Unfinity. Why not? It's going to be a blast. Some of it's legal in Eternal formats. Isn't that an exciting topic of discussion? Also, the show is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. So yes, as is sort of been burbling away online, because we've talked about it before, but getting information out there is always, disseminating news is always a challenge. At every single video, there's still people going, "Why I'm Graham Bald?"
The only thing that is instantaneous to disseminate these days online is when you've done something very stupid and you've sent some texts.
Yeah, or made a bad playlist choice. So there are many comments from people going, "Wait, Loading Ready Run worked on this set?" So, distinction, Loading Ready Run as an entity did not actually contribute to the set at all. Myself and Kathleen and Cameron did, but not strictly speaking as the entity of Loading Ready Run. But we did contribute to the set as part of what is called the creative text team. What does that mean? Does that mean that we decided all the cards and made all the mechanics and all this? No, we actually, very little of that. Most of that was already basically locked in by the time we were involved, which was a while ago at this point. Remember, this set was supposed to come out April 1st.
Yeah.
And we were working on this
in
a
April,
year?
May?
Ahead of that?
Early 2021.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but we will be the first and last things you read, because what we contributed to was titles, the names of the cards, and the flavor text at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. So that's what the creative text team does. It's the text that's creative as opposed to mechanical, right? So names and flavor text. So what does that mean? Well, there's this internal tool, which I know that I can say this because I heard Mark mention it recently. It's called Lore Seeker, which is a very clever name. And you can log into it, and it's like, all right, here's a mock-up of the card. Usually the art is there. Sometimes it's just a sketch. Sometimes there's no art, and I say we, I mean we, the creative text writers, have to rely just on the description that has been sent to the artist by the art director, which is very interesting. Mm-hmm. You get to see those anyway, which is kind of funny when it's like, when you see a disparity between what the art director said and what was actually delivered. And obviously they would have worked that out in their own internal communications, but it's just sort of funny when it's like, that's not quite interesting. So generally speaking, the art is there, and there's a playtest name of the card, and the card is there mechanically, almost final. Some things still get changed later in the process. And then they're just sort of like, okay, now it's on to your team. What do you want to name this card? What's some flavor text for this? So the creative text team, I should say, by the way, I mentioned our team lead, Ari Zarulnik. He was the team lead for creative text. Mark Rosewater was also on the team because he was on literally every part of, like every team through every part of the design for the set. Mm-hmm. And then was myself, Kathleen, and Cameron. Mm-hmm. And someone by the name of Austin Bridges, who has been, this was, I think he said, his like dozenth creative text gig at Wizards. So he's been doing names and flavor text for other sets for years. And then Sean Baby, who, as well as being a Magic player casually in his personal life, has, been a online comedy writer since the before times, like since there's been online comedy writing on the internet. I joked, he joked with me when we were sort of introducing ourselves the first day on the job, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of your stuff. I used to read your articles back on a previous iteration of cracked.com." To which he responded, my late career work." Which was very funny. So it was great to get to work with Sean, who I was familiar with prior, get to work with Kathleen Cameron, obviously, and people who I hadn't known their work before, but it was really cool to work with them on this as well. So it was weirdly collaborative and very not collaborative in a couple different ways, because basically they would be like you would think that with the three of us collaborating so often on scripts and things here at Loading Ready Run, that we would always be throwing in ideas and bandying stuff back and forth. Kathleen and I lived together, obviously. We also didn't, but no, we did not actually like work together on stuff, because every one of us was responsible for submitting suggestions for names and flavor texts for every single card. And we have different brains. And so it didn't actually, Wizards process does not actually sort of work in like a collaborative, like writing room kind of way in that regard. So like we would all be throwing in individual ideas.
Yeah. You're just like, going into brainstorming mode. It's what have we seen right now? It's a clown car, right?
Yeah.
What are we gonna?
Actually, that's a good example of
probably it's gonna. I think this should be called clown car, but you know what? I'm gonna come up with a couple others.
That's a good example, actually, of the clown car. It's one of the attractions, because the playtest name I think was just clown car, right? And that's one of those ones where it's like everyone just goes, "Well, this should just be clown car." But I guess we'll all come up with another name.
Just in case.
Yeah. Just in case, because we're supposed to. But everyone agrees that it should be clown car. But so we would all submit our individual ideas. And then Ari's job as team lead was then to not only select sort of what gets through and what works, but to also sort of to pick and choose. And you didn't necessarily get, if it's not like it would be like, okay, this is Graham's card, so he's got the name and the flavor text on this card, right? It'd be like one person's name, a different person's flavor text. But very often it would be like, this is a good idea for flavor text from Cameron, but there's also a good suggestion here from Kathleen. I'm going to combine those and we're going to get this. And so it's something that like Ari, as the team lead, the editor, puts together there from different ideas from people. That's what I mean by there's like the collaborative aspect. There was also, when we were submitting ideas, someone would make an idea and someone else would see that and it would inspire them and they'd be like, "Ooh, I have riffed on your idea below," and then submit a different idea that's similar, but there's definitely like some inspiration there. But so that's what I mean by it was not collaborative in that we didn't discuss it internally amongst ourselves or with other members of the team. Everyone had to submit all their own ideas. But at the same time, it was sort of collaborative because it's like, all right, all the ideas are in this big bucket and they can all just get like mashed up and squished together and wrung out, and then something excellent will show up at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Your goal is to help fill the bucket. Fill the bucket with the good comedy. Or just like my thought was like, all right, how much space do I got?
Yeah.
Do I got 3 lines on this? Oh, I can have as many adjectives as I want if I have 3 lines, I think. And then like my goal was always like, all right, how do I tell a story with this? I want people to read this 2 sentences maybe, or maybe 1 sentence that I have. And it's like they know the setting, they know the person, they know something about the person. So here's one that just came out, so I know I can talk about it. Punchy was programmed to do two things: punch tickets and love punching tickets.
Yeah, this is the card. It's like end of the workday. I don't actually remember what this is called now.
Done for the day.
Done for the day. Which is, we'll talk. Yeah, here we go. 2 and a green for an enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, if you control an employee, a performer, or a robot, you may get a ticket or create a treasure token. If you control all 3, you may put a sticker on a non-land permanent you control. We can talk about the mechanics in a moment, but we're much more interested with the flavor text, which, as Kathleen said, was Punchy was programmed to do 2 things: punch tickets and love punching tickets. So we just now this technically speaking goes against some of the rules that we were initially told, which was to not name the robots. Mm-hmm. But we did, or Kathleen did in this case, and they went with it anyway, which is great.
Well, because it tells you all you need to, like, because one, I think, like, the elf is supposed to be the focus of it, but, like, you could see Punchy's face more, and he looks very happy. Mm-hmm. People, like I said, I put this as a Reddit comment. The entire creative text team wanted to make the Astratorium a nice place to work, and we wanted the employees to be happy.
Yep.
Because why not? It's a fantasy.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, let's take a quick look at Night Shift of the Living Dead, which was Cameron's card name.
Anyhow, I brought that up because I feel like that tells a nice story.
Mm-hmm. And Kathleen's flavor text of, at the Astratorium, even the dead make a living wage. Because, yeah, as I've mentioned a couple times, the whole creative text team, we were really keen. Because the theme of the Astratorium in general was like, okay, it's potentially dangerous. Myra's really focused on,
Throughput,
maximizing profit. It's definitely got some sort of, seedy periphery to it. Like some of the rides are falling apart or dangerous. But we really wanted to make it clear that it was not a bad place to work. She was not cruel to her employees.
Yeah, she's. You know what? It's a lot there. I like to think of it, hey, there's a lot going on. It's a lot to maintain a giant space station. There's several infestations going on. Clearly the captain's on some sort of workplace improvement program. She's got a lot happening. But the people who are working there are well paid and are happy and are taking care of it and are doing things. Mm-hmm. That's how all of this is happening. There's a surprising amount of cooperation that needs to happen if you're going to have an intergalactic amusement park.
Yep.
With, hundreds of rides. Competence. Is that weird that I'm like, yes, in my fantasy world, everyone is competent.
In my fantasy, everyone's competent and well paid for it. Yeah. Do we want to just keep looking at some of the spoilers, or do we want to talk a bit more about working on it?
I think we should save the working on it talk for when Ari gets here. I think let's go through the spoilers. But I also want to say, which I think is really fun, we were working on it. You'd read the rules. But if especially with this, because the flavor was very we're really trying to capture what was going on with the flavor of the park because it's so high concept. Mm-hmm. A lot of the time, the flavor that was more about what was going on in the world rather than what was going on the rules tended to be the direction that people tended to focus on. And so unless it really was very rule specific to the card, I would read it and go, okay, but that's not really of any interest to me right now. I'm going to read that art brief another 4 times and really try to figure out what the mood they're trying to portray is and stuff like that. And so I've forgotten everything. It's fantastic. It's the best preview season ever.
To be fair, I don't even think that we, at the time, understood how stickers worked.
No.
I only very recently have I been like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know how they worked or how to get them.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could have tried to figure it out, but it wasn't
really relevant to us.
That wasn't my job.
Yeah.
I'd get to know eventually.
I kind of read the rules to get a sense of why things worked.
Yeah.
And to kind of get a sense for how that could, inform the flavor text and the name of the cards. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean...
Cam's like, I read the cards. I don't know what's your problem. I'm joking.
It's funny because sometimes you realize, I mean, I think there was actually a card in a previous set that jokes about this, but you realize that the flavor text can do a lot of heavy lifting, or I mean, even the name to an extent, where there's clearly an intent from the card's designer about sort of why this card does what it does from a flavor perspective, and it doesn't necessarily come across in, like, you can, when you're sitting down and you're reading the art brief and the creative brief, and you see the art and you see the rules, you can sort of be like, I get what they were trying to do, and this combination of stuff I don't think necessarily conveys that, but we can fix it. We can do something. I can't think of a good example of this right now, but it's like we can explain something in flavor text so that if someone goes, why does this art do this mechanic? And then they read the flavor text and go, oh, okay. You know, not necessarily in a way that's like, oh, it all makes sense, but like, oh, at least they thought of it. You know?
Yeah. There's a unity.
Yeah, which I like. But we did not decide other stuff about the cards when it was when Katerina of Myra's Marvels was spoiled. There was one person that was like, Kathleen she made a lady with a cat named Katerina. This is obviously, Kathleen designed this card. And Kathleen was like, no, I did not.
No.
I think you suggested Katrina as a name.
Maybe.
And then Ari did Katerina. This is a cycle, by the way, which I suggested the name Myra's Marvels, but no individual name.
Yeah, these are
mine got on.
These are like the most famous performers at the park aside from Myra. These are like the top build people. So there's one for each color. So there's this lady who just has magic cats.
Yeah, Katerina is 2 white for a 3/3 human performer. As she enters the battlefield, choose a letter. Whenever you cast a spell whose name begins with the chosen letter, create a white 2/2 cat creature token with flying. And she's got partner. So you can have 2 commanders. They both have partner. So I believe, as you can see from this text box, nobody's flavor text suggestions for any of Myra's Marvels would have been used because there's too many rules. That we definitely. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, Cameron, but Kathleen and I've been doing this during spoiler season. We've been seeing the cards and being like, "Oh, there's no flavor text on this one."
Yeah. No. All 3 of us, I think, have that experience.
Yeah. But I got to work on goblins. This was a big thing for me. People have always asked, like, hey, what's your favorite flavor text or whatever? And from when I started playing the game years ago, I've always enjoyed the goblins because I'm a silly guy, and the goblins have always, even in serious sets, have had funny flavor text. And so I've always enjoyed that. I've said that one of my favorite flavor texts of all time is Light Minefield from Rise of Eldrazi, which is, if you want to kill a lot of goblins really quickly, make your defenses look like fun. Right? And getting to finally actually work on some goblin cards was a big deal for me. I was very pleased with, I don't actually recall the name of it. It was just recently spoiled, I think today. It's the Airbrusher, the guy working on the T-shirt.
Goblin Airbrusher?
Is it is it actually Goblin Airbrusher? I can't remember what he ended up being named. I can't find him on Scryfall. But he was just spoiled today. I should have planned this. Desperately checking the subreddit where I saw it earlier today. Yeah, Goblin Airbrusher. There we go. Yeah, 1 and a red for a 2/1 Goblin employee. Whenever you place a sticker, create a treasure token. If it's an art sticker, instead create 2 treasure tokens. Don't recall who was responsible for the name here, but I suggested the flavor text of, once he'd worked out which end of the thing the paint came from, he was promoted to shirt duty, because this is a Goblin Piker, 1 and a red for a 2/1. And so that's a direct reference to the flavor text for Goblin Piker, which is once he'd worked out which end of the which end was the pointy one, he was promoted to guard duty, is I think essentially what that was. So this is a direct reference there.
There's a lot of what I like about this set is like mechanically there's a lot of like delightful references to other cards as well. It's like it's a real like it's a real magic set. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, not the least of which because the the Magic IP exists at this park, which is very funny. And then the other one that I'm particularly very proud of is Goblin Cruciverbalist. I'm inordinately proud of that because this is a cruciverbalist is someone who's a fan of crossword puzzles, and generally speaking, that word is only used as a clue in crossword puzzles.
I've never actually seen it come up in any crossword puzzle I've ever done.
It's not a very common word either.
I guess that's like a New York Times level one.
But yeah, I just love that it's I was like, oh, perfect. Cruciverbalist, yes, excellent. Also, he looks so thoughtful.
Yeah, like he's about to just fill in 4 clues here.
Yeah, he's about to crack this whole thing wide open.
Yeah, he's about to do that thing where you get one word and then suddenly you can do all the words that cross from it and you like fill an entire like quadrant of your crossword puzzle out. It's very satisfying.
For our spoilers, one of the ones we had, I wanted to talk about bar entry, the one with your flavor text, Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
Which, it's funny, right? Because it's like the name bar entry. Again, I don't know who actually suggested that name, but it wasn't the playtest name. But you look at it and it's like, well, what else would you call it? Of course, it seems like you would start from that, right?
Right.
There's so many of these jokes where it's like some of them went like the Big Top was playtest name was the Big Top, and everybody just commented it was like this should just be called the Big Top, right? Like, why are you even asking us? But some of them, it's like, oh, of course, like of all of them, actually, Carnival Barker, I can't believe was not the original name for that one because he's a dog in like a carnival thing leading the 3-ring circus. But it's like, obviously that's Carnival Barker. That's genius. Anyway, but so for bar entry, obviously it's got it's 3 and a white for an instant. Choose one. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, or destroy target creature with any part of its head higher than the bar. Align the tops of both cards to check. With the flavor text, you will either begin or end the ride no taller than this, which is ominous.
Yeah, casual decapitation joke.
Yeah. I wanted to let you know that Scryfall already has a search parameter where you can turn in all the results that die to bar entry.
Amazing.
In terms of head height on the card. Whether or not you can do this optionally, whether or not they would already be destroyed by having 4 greater power. So you can look at ones that wouldn't be killed by the first mode, but would be killed by the second.
Gonna get so many card alters with this.
It's good stuff. Gosh, what else? There's so many spoilers. Do we want to talk about any of the mechanics at all, or now that they're all sort of out there?
Yeah, no, like I've talked big game about how I actually tried to read the mechanics, and now I can't remember any of them.
So we also didn't know how attractions worked at the time, initially. Yeah. I think they might have explained it at one point, but similar to the contraptions deck, the attraction thing is a separate deck, and it's different in draft than it is in constructed. There's different rules for it. I think it actually says so on the card back, very similar to contraptions. But there's different variants of of attractions, because when you go there, you need to roll a d6, and you only visit the attraction if the specific role that's mentioned on the card shows up. And so to add that sort of variety, there's different versions of the attractions, and each version has different flavor text. So for the attractions, they were like, all right, everyone just throw in a ton of flavor text because we're going to need a lot. Which was
very fun, honestly.
Which was super fun.
Yeah.
There was actually this was an interesting sort of creative discussion internally, which was not our final decision, but they hadn't yet decided whether they wanted to make the attractions sort of generalized, like roller coaster and log flume, or if they wanted to have them all be funny Magic the Gathering names, joke names for, like Tybalt's Tunnel of Love and the Teferi's Time Twister, and, which I believe is on one of the flavor texts.
In Garrick's Wake.
Yeah, Garrick's Wake, the log flume ride.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. And so we were suggesting all sorts of different names, and eventually they decided, I think this is probably the correct decision, that the attractions are sort of anonymized names, but we could make references to them in the flavor text. But yeah, getting to do a lot of different flavor texts for those was super fun. One of the I can't believe they printed this one, but one of the ones for the costume shop was my suggestion of dress up like all your favorite planeswalkers and Oko.
Did that get spoiled or previewed today?
Oh no, it got spoiled last week, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dress up like all your favorite planeswalkers and Oko. And I was like, really? They're printing that one? Awesome.
Yeah. That was good. I don't know. I like that they, they're like, hey, we're doing multiples. Let's do some weird ones. Let's go. I don't know. I think that was nice. I think, everybody felt it was tremendously creative freeing. It's like, just do whatever you want. We're going to be printing a lot. We don't know what we want. Do the thing.
Your one for the carousel.
Oh, yeah.
Like encased in a slow time bubble.
Ensconced.
Oh, ensconced is such a good word.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. I can't remember the actual name of the attraction. It might just be the carousel.
It's merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round.
Because those words are interchangeable, but not in all English dialects, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would not call this a merry-go-round. A merry-go-round for me is the playground, is the little thing with handles that you spin.
Launch small children laterally.
Yeah.
The big thing is also a merry-go-round.
See, I call that a carousel.
Horse tornado.
Yeah.
Well, I also call it a carousel because
that's true.
That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
But they're
ensconced in a slow time bubble that makes a 5-minute ride take 9 hours. The carousel is a very popular childcare option. Now you decided to clarify your
There's
intent.
some people in Reddit being like, wait, so the kids are in there for 9 hours? And it's like, no. They go in and it seems like only 5 minutes has passed because it's a slow time bubble, right? But they come out and you've had 9 hours to, as I explained at the Reddit thread, to go on the scary adult rides, respond to some emails, and have a nap, which I feel like that lets you know that I am a parent. You pick them up and they've had a nice time.
Yeah, that sounds great. Mm-hmm. They've had a great time, and then you're like, great, let's go to the concession and leave.
Yeah. It's fine. We have annual passes. We can come back to the Astrotorium.
Yeah, whenever it's next in this sector.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also liked is it the children's roller coaster? I don't know.
Yeah.
We decided it was going to be the only safe ride in the park.
Yeah, the whole creative text team, I don't know, for some reason was like, hey, let's not actually even imply that children may be injured here. I don't know why.
Yeah. Normally we're all for child maiming.
Yeah, but not today.
Individually.
No,
it's the kiddie coaster, I think, is what it ended up being called.
It's called Kiddie Coaster?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. There's one of the flavor texts from I don't know if this one's actually from Sean Baby, but it mentions Salzon's ride reviews, which
those were Austin's.
Austin made Salzon? Oh, I thought Sean invented Salzon. Whoops. Well, anyway, the flavor text on. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Spinny Ride also has one from Salzon. Salzon shows up on a couple different ones, but the one for the kiddie coaster is that Salzon actually wrote it on the ride. It's just like
it was so mild.
Yeah, it was so mild. I was able to write my review on the. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it is. It is actually called Kiddie Coaster. I guess maybe they're not on Scryfall yet. There's another one on Kiddie Coaster from Ambassador Blorpity Blorp Boop, saying the calming motion of this Grubling's ride reminds me of my world's beauty before this mobile astropark obliterated it. So that's nice. I like also that the all the robots talk in all caps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that. I mean, I know I did that.
Yes,
I don't know if
you
I started
immediately
that.
zeroed in on that. See, this is I think it's a funny illustration of how our minds work. I remember who wrote what kind of flavor text attributions. I don't remember what the rules on the cards were.
For mental health reasons, I did not form memories in 2021.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah. Well, let's see what other cards got spoiled then. Let me see. I remember the trivia contest attraction. I remember throwing in a suggestion for the name Only Correct,
Yes. Yeah.
which was
That's so good.
referencing British trivia panel show Only Connect. This was when we were throwing in ideas for what this could be called. It's not just a generalized name, but ended up going with trivia contest. I love also the character of Vorthos there, who she just looks like she's having an absolute ball, presumably because she's getting all the answers correct. But actual Vorthos is a very good card too. Continuing the cycle of putting the what are they called again?
The archetypes, the gamer personalities.
Archographics. There was some sort of some word that they use, and I can't remember, but like Spike and Johnny. And now Vorthos, Steward of Myth, the Vorthos, the person who cares about the lore. 1 and a red for a 1/3 human gamer, sub-gamers. As Vorthos, Steward of Myth enters the battlefield, choose a named magic character. Each spell you cast with a chosen character in its name, flavor text, or art costs Wooburg less to cast. This effect reduces only the amount of colored mana you pay. And I do like this. I don't know where this flavor text came from, which is, just wait, my Madara deck isn't all Emperor Bolus. There's an Umezawa sub-theme,
That's
which
good
is very
flavor
good.
text, though.
I actually don't know where this flavor text came from either. I have no recollection of anyone who, I think a different thing got finalized. This is the thing. After we were hands off, right? Obviously the like I said, Ari had a whole pass that he and Mark would do, looking over everything as well.
They certainly have like copy editors as well.
Yeah. And then there's also the rules editor does a pass.
Yeah.
And sometimes the length of rules text needs to change, which is why we mentioned sometimes things don't show up there. So it's like even when we're done, the process isn't done. And so it's still a surprise to us to be like, oh, well, we may have been in a position where it's like, this card with this name and this flavor text that so-and-so and so-and-so wrote is locked in. And then now in spoilers, it's like, oh, but it's not. Okay, cool. It's like, it's fine ultimately. It's just sort of like, ooh, a surprise.
Mm-hmm. So another card that has just been previewed today is Minoxa, Midway Manager. And I love her. She's great. I don't remember who wrote Can We Get This Ghost 11% Spookier? I think it might have been Morrow.
Might have been, yeah.
It's just very clean, and it's just like tells you a little bit about what her job is. So I think that's very good. But and she's eternal, so you could build. She doesn't have an acorn, so you could build. She could be your commander. Whenever you roll a 3 or higher, Minoxa Midway Manager gains first strike until end of turn. If the roll was 4 or higher, it gains menace until end of turn. If the roll was 5 or higher, it gains lifelink until end of turn. 6. Roll a 6-sided die. That seems pretty good.
It's very cool.
Just like you can just roll a dice anytime you want. So yeah, and I came up with the name Minoxa, and that makes me very happy that that's on a card now.
It's a very good name.
Yeah.
It's why only use it once. Where did Minoxa appear originally?
Oh, she's the bad guy in Camp Nettleby.
Right. Oh, I not even by Law and Order.
No.
I forgot it was Camp Nettleby was Minoxa. Right.
Yeah. I figured she's never coming back, right? Because she was like a child murdering warlock.
Right.
So she's done. She got beaten up by the kids, but I was like, that is a really good bad guy name, and like, I just feel like Minoxa's serious business. So
I also do like that as a vampire, not all the vampires at the Astratorium are dirtbag teenagers.
no.
Yeah.
Some of them are capable 20-somethings.
Yeah, some of them are upper management material.
Yeah.
Or lower management material. Management material.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like that there is this theme in the art that that sort of the action point kind of.
Or class action park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The as you say, the dirtbag teenagers working this as a summer gig are sort of represented by vampires, like on Scampire, I think is one of them. That has been spoiled. Just the this one, and I guess it's not actually one I was thinking of, but yes, here's Scampire.
Oh, is it the sneering employee?
Yeah.
Oh, what is that card called?
Scampire is 2 and a black for a 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, you get a ticket, and then you can put a sticker on a creature card in your graveyard, and then you can pay 3 and a black to return a creature card with a sticker on it from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery. You get, just real quick with the stickers, because some people are like, how do the stickers work? Cards will tell you when to put stickers on cards, and of what kind, if relevant. Otherwise, you can choose what kind of sticker. Some kinds of stickers cost tickets. That's it, really. There's cards that give you tickets, and you use the tickets to pay for certain kinds of stickers, usually ability and power toughness stickers. There's 4 kinds of stickers on the sticker cards. There's names, art, ability, and power and toughness. And the ability and power and toughness cost tickets because they're usually more powerful. That's how stickers work. Yes, they're eternal legal. No, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I really don't. It's just don't think they're powerful enough, frankly. I like the idea of being able to show up to Commander with an attractions deck, though. That seems interesting.
Yeah.
Only some of the attractions, though. Only some, not all. Again, we were not part of the decision process for this. Where's the other vampire? Do you have the one handy, James? This one? Yeah, discourtesy clerk.
Yeah.
Right. Myra doesn't pay the vampires to smile, but only because guests found it off-putting. I like commander tax not included.
I feel like if a vampire smiled at me, I'd be way more worried than if they were rude to me.
Yeah. If they're rude to you, it's like, oh, they just don't like me.
Yeah. If they smile at me, they want to eat me.
Exactly, right? So discourtesy clerk is 3 and a black for a 3/2 vampire employee. When discourtesy clerk enters the battlefield, open an attraction, which is to say put the top card of your attraction deck onto the battlefield. That's how you open attractions. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more attractions, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Pretty cool. Go hard on attraction. I don't know what colors, if there are colors. I assume they're in all colors. I don't know if there's an attractions deck. I'm looking forward to finding out.
I mean, I think Black Red likes them the most because
so, yeah.
as like the dice rolling deck in the format,
That makes sense, yeah.
you roll a lot of dice with attractions.
Yeah. Because you visit them. Do you get to do that every turn? Is it like contraptions in that regard?
I think so. I seem to remember so. Yeah, and then you roll a die and you see what attractions are open.
Nice.
Don't quote me.
Again, we're here for names and flavor text. We don't. We didn't. We didn't do the rules, nor did we ingest them. I suppose.
Look, I have a very sophisticated filing system, which is to take everything that's not immediately relevant to me and throw it right in the bin.
Except that you're really good at remembering who suggested what suggestions for this set.
Clearly something about my brain thinks that it would be important to hold on to that, probably because I'm extremely anxious and very worried about making people mad at me for somebody who's not me suggesting that I did something that I didn't do, and then for getting credit for somebody else's work, and then not being able to immediately disprove it.
To be fair, incorrect attribution does just make the inside of my skin crawl.
Yeah.
And I get so uncomfortable when someone attributes to me work that someone else has done, and I quickly correct when I'm able to. But yeah, I very, very much respect that it's like, oh no, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering now. Did any of us squeak through the British, Canadian, or Commonwealth spelling of color, honor, that kind of thing onto cards?
No, I think unfortunately the copy editors would have clamped down on that. I don't think that they let that happen.
I tried not to do it because I knew I was writing for Americans, but it felt wrong.
It felt
Yeah.
wrong every time.
Yeah.
What bugs me is that my phone puts a red underline under both spellings of color.
Yes. Yeah.
Either, no matter what you do, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Makes me avoid those words, to be honest.
Yeah. Over the past week, though, I have trained it to autocomplete the word astrotorium. It still thinks it's misspelled. Like, it still puts a red underline under it. But if I go astro, and then it goes, yeah. You've typed this word a lot recently. I'm like, yes, I have. I don't know who's responsible for the name Claire DeLune Joy Sculptor, but I know that this is one of those flavor texts I mentioned where I suggested something involving, I don't know if it was Merit Lage, it was something, but I suggested the like, though that one takes a lot of balloons, and it got sort of workshopped into the current iteration of she'll sculpt goblins, saprolings, Merit Lage, though that one takes a lot of balloons. I would love to see. Also, it seems like they're alive, so the the notion of a Merit Lage balloon animal is kind of terrifying. I should tell you what she does. White blue for a 2/3 human performer. When Claire DeLune enters the battlefield for the rest of the game, tokens you own become cards that are still tokens. So they continue to exist after they leave the battlefield. And for 1 white blue and tap, you can put a token from your graveyard or hand onto the battlefield. I guess referencing Merit Lage on this card specifically makes it even more scary.
Yeah. No, terrifying.
Yeah.
Good flavor text synergy there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if Merit Lage gets bounced, I may simply return her.
Yes. She'll be back. Another one that I can't believe sort of got through. Again, I don't know who's responsible for this one, but one of the flavor texts on Trash Bin, it says, yet another trash uncommon. And I don't think it was me, so kudos to whoever put that one in there.
Yeah.
And I
That's
love
like
that
the
that got
most
through.
Magic player met flavor text ever. It's like,
Yep. I like there's another one that says, standing knee-deep in unsorted astrotarium garbage, Gurnt couldn't help but feel his trip was finally starting to turn around. I think we came up with so many ridiculous goblin names in flavor, or just names, just random people's names to attribute quotes to in flavor text. I don't think most of them got like actually made it to print,
right?
but you don't know, and so it's like we'll attribute this to you know whoever. Like that's another thing, is that there's sort of like there's a pass that someone who does copy makes at some point, again beyond our contributions, where it's like, who does it make sense to attribute these quotes to, right? And so sometimes we'd be like, oh, we're just going to make up a quote because this seems like a piece of flavor text that would be a quote, and we'll attribute it to this name and just make something up. And then later it'll be like, well, we have this card that's a character and it would make more sense for it to be that. Like, I think there's one that's, and I don't know where it is, but it ended up being attributed to Monoxa because that just made sense because she's the Midway manager. But originally it was submitted with just like, Bort the guy, And so it's interesting that like sometimes those get through because you will often have, not get through as in it's like a mistake or that they're sneaking through, but sometimes those do make it to print because it is nice for sort of to give the impression of a larger world building, to have quote attributions to cards that you don't see. Mm-hmm. Right. I think that's actually very good and interesting. It sort of makes the world seem bigger because there's other people, but in some situations it makes more sense to be like, no, this should be this character that we already have because they're already
in the set.
Yeah.
Stuff. But then you get like the beloved characters that are referenced like multiple times on flavor text over the years and finally get their own cards, and then everyone's really happy. So, you know, that's always fun.
Well, I mean, it's a chance to characterize these people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And give a sense of their personality.
I quite like the flavor text. I know that I do recall this one. This was Sean's flavor text on Tusk and Whiskers, which I named. I think I originally had a epithet there, but there wasn't room for it. But yeah, Tuscan Whiskers, the elephant and mouse with the flavor text, weighing in at a combined 13,000 pounds and 2 ounces. It's just a very clean little phrase there. It's like, yep, there's 2 ounces of mouse and 13,000 pounds of elephant. Also, 3 white, green for a 4/4. Whenever you put an ability sticker on a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature, and for 2 and green and white and tap, you get a ticket, and you can put a sticker on a non-land permanent you own. So, this is also eternal, so you can make yourself a sticker commander deck, a Selesnya stickers deck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? I might do that. Actually, some tech that Ben was talking about with, I think was it Photo Op? Is that the name of the card? Not Mobile Clone. That's a different one. Mobile Clone turns your phone into a...
Yeah, Photo Op's the black one.
Yeah, so single black mana sorcery. Before the game begins, you may post a picture of yourself posing like the art of any magic card with hashtag guess that magic card and no other text. You may reveal a reply posted today with a guess and a card you own from outside the game with the same name as that guess. Put that card into your hand, and then you exile Photo Op.
Ah!
Now, Ben immediately noticed the guess doesn't have to be correct.
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to say that.
And the card that you get from outside the game does not have to be the card you were posing for.
Yep. Yeah.
You just have to pose like any magic card, and as long as anyone guesses anything, you get to get this card from outside the game.
Demonic Tutor.
Yeah.
If you can pose like Black Lotus, then you know what?
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
It's like, what magic card am I posing like? I don't know, Goblin Chain Whirler? Wrong, but thank you for this Crater Hoof Behemoth.
Yeah.
It's like, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Though Mobile Clone is very funny. 2 blue for a sorcery. Using a mobile device, take a picture of target creature. That device enters the battlefield as a token that is a photocopy of the pictured creature.
Oh my god.
Photocopies include auras, equipment, counters, and stickers in the shot. Don't touch other people's phones without permission, and be careful if you do. I love... There was a response on Reddit that was like, don't touch other people's phones without permission, smiley face. And be careful if you do, gun. Right? It's like and if you do, after you've asked permission, watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go leafing through their crap.
That seems very powerful. You get all the stickers, you get the auras, you get the equipment.
Yeah. And then someone can Doomblade your phone. Finally.
Wow, I feel like we got to do a thing where somebody actually like takes an axe to a phone.
Cuts like the void.
Maybe we could make a phone out of like cake and fondant. So just split in half. Not just for the splitting picture.
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
putting down the phone, whunk, and then just having it cleanly bisect.
Yes.
Right, and then we, change the prop.
It's a cake.
Mm-hmm.
What an amazing practical effect to just see a perfect cake split. Oh God!
Do you have, James? Do you have the various iterations of the clown extruder? Again, a name that I don't know who's responsible for, but I can't believe.
I think that was Sean, baby.
I can't just clown extruder. It's good, but there's this. I think this attraction as a unit has some of my favorite flavor text. The sound it makes is indescribable and unsettling, but it does make a great clown. Is there any other ones? Do you have or? Nope. Let me see if I can find the other. Here we go. They're on the official Wizards image gallery. Who goes there for their information? He said embarrassingly. It's just taking a while to load. Maybe that's part of the problem. One moment while I... here we go. Okay. Here's various flavor texts for Clown Extruder. One day it will produce a clown that can itself produce a clown. Until that day, it will not rest. Pietra's Mirthing Pod boasts an output that's hilarious and impressive. A real laugh a minute. Pietra's Mirthing Pod. And then my favorite in all caps, congratulations, it is a clown. Very, yeah. You get to have a lot of fun with these. It's awesome.
Yeah, I do love the conceit that the clowns are robots. And the robots do not feel pain.
Yep.
I remember getting that briefing at the beginning. The robots are not in like a pain, unhappy existence.
Yeah, they're not
just they're like the robot that assembles a car in a car plant.
Yeah, they're Roombas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just happen to, their programming is to bring mirth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they were very clear. That's like, don't worry, the robot clowns are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is fun. Gray Merchant of Alphabet.
Oh yeah.
Getting to codify in the flavor text that at least this character, I don't know about the Gray Merchant of Asphodel, but the Gray Merchant of Alphabet, at least, this character's name is Gary. Like any young zombie, Gary dreamed of escaping the underworld to join the circus. I should read what it does. 3 black for a 2/4 zombie performer. When it enters the battlefield, choose a letter. For each creature you control that has the chosen letter in its name, you gain 1 life, and each opponent loses 1 life. It's very cool. Also, I like that the art is like, it's
Fancy Gary.
it's the theme park tune-up of the Gray Merchant of Asphodel, right? Like it's the Gray Merchant, but louder and flashier and with color and feathers, and it's like, oh, okay, cool,
Chocolate
sure.
coins.
Yeah,
Yes,
presumably, yeah.
So yeah, and I think this is really important. Like, we got this card, and it's just like, this is clearly Gary. Look at what he does, right? He's a zombie. He looks like him. That's in the art brief, right? You can read in the art brief that it's supposed to be referencing this, and then you look at it, yes. So, like, that's the design team who are making, basically, I mean, Gary was a very popular, powerful, mimetic card when Theros, just original Theros, came out.
I don't think that we can claim to have necessarily created Gary, but we certainly helped popularize it thanks to the platform of Friday nights at the time.
Yeah. But get Garried.
Get Garried.
Yeah. But like, it was like a magic meme. And I love that the people who designed the set were like, okay, you know what's a card that everyone really remembers and loves is the Gray Merchant of Asphodel. How can we work that in here? How can we make this self-referential to the things that we love about magic? Which is kind of the theme of the set, right? Because it's magic themed, right? It's a fantastical science fiction space theme park that is themed around Magic the Gathering. So of course it's going to be all the things that you love.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's very fun and clever.
Also, Gray Merchant of Alphabet has devotion to A of 4.
Sorry?
Oh, because he's got 4 A's in his name.
Yeah, choose 4 if you're playing this onto an empty board.
Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, that is good, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big life swing right there.
Yeah.
A tribal.
Well, it would choose a letter. For each creature you control that has the chosen letter in its name.
Oh, wait. Oh, man.
So,
Oh. Boo. That's a common Magic player feeling. It's like, oh wait, I figured out how to break this thing wide open. Oh,
just every instance.
Bummer.
I mean, if you've got tokens, though.
Yeah. Well, there goes my Wordle score.
Didn't it was one of the earliest spoilers. I'm trying to find it. There's so many of them. The animate object. Yeah. Because I think, Cameron, I think that tap beverages with extreme caution was yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of animate. Again, I don't know who did the name necessarily, but I just love that it's animate object and animate object.
Yes.
Both. This is a good card. Also, it's just a good card. 4 and blue for a sorcery. You get 7 tickets. Choose an inanimate object you own from outside the game. Put a power and toughness sticker on it. You may also put a name sticker, an art sticker, and or an ability sticker on it. Put it onto the battlefield as a creature. So you just go, yep, here's a creature now. Here you go.
But you have to put a power and toughness sticker on it. But everything else is a may, so you can buff up your other creatures with those stickers with those.
You can save the tickets, yeah.
Yeah, you can save the tickets if you want to.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. I like also the...
He doom-bladed my sandwich.
I tweeted about this, the Big Top. I said it was this was one of the only times when I was in genuine mode for the flavor text, which was the glow of the Big Top can be seen for light years, but its excitement can be felt in the hearts of anyone who's ever been there. Because I was just like, I don't think I need to make a joke on this one, and they ended up going with that, which was nice. It's fun to be reminded you can operate in multiple modes.
I told only jokes.
I mean, most of
I've
mine
got
are
one
jokes.
speed.
You could tell when you said something really good and or stupid, because as I mentioned, team lead Ari just responded by saying your first name and a period.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got that for the flavor text for Saw in Half.
Yep. Which was
The audience loves it, but volunteers are divided.
yep. And yeah.
Oh, the audience always loves it.
Same for Space Family Goblins.
Yeah.
Which Sean did the flavor text for, which I really like.
Which is so good.
It's the goblin word for vacation translates roughly to a battered landscape of noise and violence, which is it's very good as well.
It's very beautiful, honestly. It's a
Yeah.
lovely sentence.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, we talked about stickers and attractions, and there's dice rolling. And I think that's all the sort of broad mechanics. I think that otherwise any of the mechanics are sort of card by card.
Yeah.
So
tickets are kind of like energy that's exclusive to this set.
yeah, and only
Or,
used
like-
for stickers.
Yeah.
So they're sort of all the one thing. If you have questions about working on this set, please do ask, because we are going to talk more about it. But this was just sort of an initial overview of finally getting to talk about some of these cards. So please do throw those in the comments. But if you want to see some Unfinity in action, oh boy, this coming Sunday, October 2nd, it's the Unfinity PPR. It's going to be broadcasting live at 10 a.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun. And of course, the VODs and everything will be up on youtube.com/LRRMTG as soon as we can after that. It's going to be a bunch of folks from Loading Ready Run, special guests, Mark Rosewater back again, and of course, Megan and Maria from Good Luck High Five. Very happy to have them back in the studio as well. We're going to be doing a draft, because this set is designed for draft. So we're going to be doing a live draft in front of your very eyes, and then a whole bunch of Unfinity gameplay. I have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be a whole thing. Also, I got to sit down with Mark and Sean to do a little sort of chat about working on the set, and we'll be airing that during the stream as well. In fact, that'll be after the draft to give people a chance to deck build and sleeve up and all that. And we have other fun entertainments to delight and entice you with. So please do tune in for the Unfinity PPR, because it's going to be a very fun time. And I'm really excited about it. We've got the Dominaria and United Nicknames episode coming up soon, probably next episode, I guess. James is nodding. And then, like I said, we've also got an episode where we're going to go even deeper into the weeds on working on Unfinity, including sharing some flavor text that for various reasons didn't see print. And why? You'll have to tune in and find out. So look forward to that on a future episode as well.
Swears.
And
Yeah, so many swears.
and then, I guess also probably we'll have an episode with Mark and Megan and Maria,
Yeah.
because we usually do an episode with the PPR guests.
I'll be asking them their spicy food takes.
Oh, right, yeah.
Their five.
Their takes about food that are spiced. No, hang on.
Yeah.
Their spicy takes about food.
Their spicy, controversial food opinions.
Yes. Not their controversial opinions about spicy food.
I mean, I don't think.
Unless that is where their opinions are controversial.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Spicy is a tricky word to use in this sentence.
Here, 5 hot pepper food takes.
All right, that's going to do it for Tap Tap Conceit for this week. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining us. A reminder that, of course, the show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Please check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. Ask them for a button. That tell them we sent you. They'll give you a little button. It's going to say something funny. I don't know what it is right now, but it's good. Trust me. Smile.
It's as good as the flavor text that we wrote.
Yeah. And of course, everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. If you see any of these spoilers and you're like, oh, I think I know who wrote that, feel free to hit us up on Twitter and we'll tell you that we don't remember. But if we do remember, we will also respond. Until next time, I have been Graham, joined by Cameron and Kathleen. And James has been running tech. Heather gets these online. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.